So I have been in the industry just for 2 years. I don't think I have much data points to share, but I would love to share with you what I have seen in the last 2 years of my experience of being into the news industry. Keeping with the philosophy that we work in our company, I would love to share only some facts with all of you. I will not put out any opinion, I will just share some facts which I have gathered in the last 2 years. To begin with, I will share what kind of news we as a people like to read. Yeah. So here is an example of news which we published a few days back. So what do you think? People would love to read these kind of news, or people would have read this news when we published? Our answer would be definitely yes. People probably love to read these kind of news. Let me get to my next example. What about this? People must have read this news item also. Let's get back to the next one. What about this? Let me share an interesting fact. In the last 4 months, we have published almost 10,000 news items, and these 3 were among the top 100 top 100 most read news items. Okay, let me get to my next news. What about this? Or the other one? The next one. What about this? If you see the context, probably the Syrian news or the Ukraine's rating, these 2 are one of the most important international news. But interestingly, as I think all of you can guess, these 2 were among the worst 100 performing news items. Can we conclude anything based on the 5 data points that I shared? I think probably we will come to the conclusion that as a human being, probably we would love to read fluffy content, we love to read crappy content, and we don't care about what's happening in the international scenario, and we just don't care about serious stuff. I think we can conclude that. That's what we will be concluding based on these data points. But wait, I will share some more data points. Next news, please. What about this? BSE becomes world's fastest stock exchange. Do you think people would have read this news? Let's get back to the previous one. This is an important business story, if you will see that. Ukraine's rating, and the next one, please. This is again a business story. What would be your take? People would have read this news. Next one, please. What about this? Or the next one? Or the next one? 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 I have shared few examples with all of you. What do you think? All of these are important news stories, or again this fluffy content? Probably all of these are very important news stories. And interestingly, and the best part is, all these news were also among the top 100 most read news items, among the 10,000 news items which we published in the last 3 to 4 months. So are these fluffy content? These are not. So a few minutes back we saw that people were reading fluffy content, but all these examples which I showed to you, starting from the, we'll go back. We started with this news. People did not consume this one. People neither cared about this, but people read this news. Or people read this news. Or people read this news. These 3 are also important business stories, if you'll see. BSE becoming the fastest stock exchange is an important story for the country or for the business sector. Or Dell buys EMC, the largest tech equation is also an important story. So people are consuming good quality of business stories. Or say this is also a business story, or this is an important international story, if you will see. Again, this is an important international story. If you will notice this news, if you either seen this news or this or this or this or this, or let me go back to the first 3 examples. These 3. All these news share one common thing. To understand these news, you just need 2 things. One is intention to read the news, and the second is a basic level of intellect. While to consume this news and the next. Instead of these two, you need three things. An intention to read, intellectual level to understand things, and the third is the knowledge base. To give you an example of this news, I will give you my context. I'm an engineer. I was studying at IIT Delhi. I did courses in finance. I did courses in economics. I'm running a company from last 2 years, has been into the business industry for the last 2 years. I interned at Standard & Poor's during my summer training of college. Even I don't understand what this B- rating is. The problem with this news, people did not read this news, is probably because people cannot understand this news. If you will see, these two news are those. To understand these news, to understand this particular news, you will probably have to understand the entire context of how Syria is working. What is that Syria crisis all about? So we can say that probably people do care about. If you will see this example, you can see that probably people are reading good quality of content. So I will probably love to put forward my opinion, but again, with these data points, I will, at the end of the day, we'll keep it on you to decide. We'll keep it on you to decide what people's real intention is. If we'll say that when you gave me an option to read this news or this news, the second one was really not an option for me because I did not understand that particular news item. So, to finish with, I will say, people did not consume this news, people consumed this one. To finish with, I would love to put forward a question. Do we really have an option when we say that people do not consume good quality of content, but probably the example suggested that it is not the case. So, what we conclude, what we can probably say based on these examples is, probably what we do in life is based on the options that are available with us. And what we intend to do is probably limited by the brain or the intellect level that we have. The problem lies with the options available. What we do, as we can see in these examples, the people read all these fluffy content because there were no alternates. So I will conclude with the fact that probably we as a society, our intentions are not wrong. We want to read good content. This is one of the examples. Probably if I will have option in other areas of the world, I will definitely choose something good if I have an option. I really don't have an option in much of the places. That's it. Thank you.